Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. A good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. A hired man who is not a shepherd and whose sheep are not his own sees a wolf coming and leaves the sheep and runs away. And the wolf catches and scatters them. This is because he works for pay and has no concern for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know mine and mine know me. Just as the Father knows me and I know the Father, I will lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that do not belong to this fold. These also I must lead, and they will hear my voice. For there will be one flock, one shepherd. That is why the Father loves me, because I lay down my life in order to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down on my own. I have power to lay it down and power to take it up again. This command I have received from my Father. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise you, Lord Jesus Christ.
A few days ago, one of our parishioners had a child, and I went to visit her. And she was married about 2 years ago, and just recently she had a baby. So I brought her an Eddie bear, not a teddy bear, but an Eddie bear. And the reason I gave it to her because I found that the Eddie bear many times is a source of security for children. And last week, we've had over 8 baptisms. I baptized anybody east of the Mississippi River. And one family, a parishioner, had 4 of her children baptized. And I gave an Eddie bear to all the 3 young girls, and I gave a cross to the young men. And I've given out over 3,000 of these Eddie bears over the years. In fact, I don't have any more left, not even one for myself. But the reason why I gave it to her, because many times we have that feeling of insecurity. I just got a call on my email, on my voicemail, I just checked before I came over here. Someone was in a panic, and they felt very, very terribly insecure where they were. So I felt that the child, if she could hold on to that lifestyle or the Eddie bear, there would be a source of security for that child. You have to be close to that little Eddie bear. And we have to be close to our Eddie bear, which is the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd, good means real and noble. And to the degree that we are in his presence, his mystical presence, and awareness of his presence, to that degree we feel very, very secure, because we are in the presence of God. And there's one thing to pray and meditate, but the essential that we're all called to do is to be mystics. One, to live in the real presence of Christ right here, right now. When we look at the world today, we see that Israel and the United States have something in common. I'm not talking about the Israel of 2012, I'm talking about the Israel of 800 BC. Israel was very defiant, very powerful. And after a while, they began to turn away from Yahweh, from God, and they began to have their own idols, the idols of materialism. In fact, they even turned around and began to offer children as an offering to the false gods that they were adoring. Yes, they fell away from God, and to the degree that they fell away from God, to that degree they lost their power, prestige, and position. And they eventually were overcome by the Assyrians. And they became slaves of the Assyrians. And you say, what's that connection and what has that to do with the United States today? Well, today we see that same act of defiance, the act of we have it all, we're powerful, we're wealthy, we're the #1 nation. We have that same feeling of defiance. But just like the Israeli fell away from God by turning away to false idols, and they gave up their values. So we see the same thing happening in America today. Or how our values have changed. Just turn on radio and television. Where materialism has taken the place of morality. Where Powerball is what we all talk about, the $650 million that somebody wanted. Yes, we turn away from the values and morals of Christ. We turn away from the Good Shepherd, so that the wolves can overcome our way of thinking and our acting. I never thought of a mother would give her child in 8th grade contraceptives because she knew she's not going to be a virgin in high school. And they're giving out contraceptives now. And they're giving them out in high school. Yes, we see our morals changing so much. We used to value Sunday, but now we sell beer and wine on Sunday. Remember the Blue Laws? Maybe some of you are too young. Well, we would never think of doing that on Sunday. And now all these men who own these mini grandpa or grandma wine or liquor stores have to be open to cover. Yes, we see now that the morals really aren't there. Imagine if the Secret Servicemen did not get caught by that one prostitute who got mad because they only gave her $30. And she rang the bell and opened the door to what's happening down in Washington. Yes, we could look at our life and see there's a similarity with the Israelis of 8 BC. There's a book that I read called The Harbinger. Harbinger means really a warning of future judgment. A warning of future judgment. It's a herald. It's a forerunner of future events. It's kind of a prophecy. And in that Harbinger book, they compare Israel and the United States. The Israelis were overcome by the Assyrians. And where is Assyria today? In Iraq. Now the ancestors of Assyrians, the children of the Assyrians, are the Al-Qaeda. And the language of the Assyrians, Arabic, that the Al-Qaeda uses today. And we see the first harbinger which was 9/11. And 9/11, which was really the tower of our adoration, the twin towers of finance, that became a symbol of our gods. And what happened to the first harbinger, the first warning of judgment, and the ground zero resulted. But you know what happened? What was the second harbinger? The second warning of judgment. We saw our economy collapse in a very short time, where people lost their 401ks, and people who are 65 are now working. There are 6 to 8 million foreclosures going on. And the family breakup where people no longer can eat together because they work in different shifts and they don't see each other. The Sunday meal or the evening meal is gone, where family life is broken. No longer domestic churches, but really just motels where they come and eat and leave. Yes, we see that, the falling apart of our morals. And the further we get away from the Good Shepherd and his teaching, the more the wolves overcome us with destroying our morals and our way of life, our way of Christian life. And you say, well, you look at ground zero, what does that really have to do with what I'm talking about? Well, back in 1789, where was the capital of the United States in 1789? United States or New York? New York. George Washington was the president and the capital of New York. And in 1789, George Washington and all of Congress went to St. Paul's Chapel and dedicated our country to God. That St. Paul's Chapel is ground zero. So where we dedicated our lives to our country to God, we destroyed that dedication and built the idols of finance in its place. So the first harbinger, the witness and the judgment, warning of future judgment, was ground zero. And the second harbinger is obviously our economy collapse. We're trying to build it up again. But the further we go away from the Good Shepherd, the more we, the sheep, are overcome by wolves of materialism, secularism, and the loss of morality and immorality. Yes, children now in high school, how do they act? Every time we pick up a paper, there's a story about some high school here, where kids were Christ-centered, and now they're non-Christ-centered. And you look at our lives, and where is the third harbinger? My prediction of a warning of the future judgment is not ground zero, not economy class my next prophecy is China. Where now that we have $13 trillion in debt, and we owe so much to China, they won't have to drop any bombs upon us. Yes, we have these warnings of judgment, these harbingers, but is it helpless and hopeless? Well, my faith tells me our country could be just like Nineveh. If you remember the old story in the Old Testament about Nineveh, that the prophet said to God, to Yahweh, if there are 50 good people in Nineveh, will you destroy this city? And God said, no. Then the prophet said, if there's 25 good people in Nineveh, will you destroy this city? And God said, no. And then finally the prophet said, if there's 10 good people, God-fearing people in this city, will you destroy it? And God said, no. Well, I feel that's about our country, our parish. Are there 10 good people with this Mass? You know, we only have 22% go to church. Could we have 90%? Are there 10 good people, Lord, in Sacred Heart, that you will be the source of not destroying our country, the way it's falling apart morally, financially, and family-wise? And God says no. Well, where are those 10 good people? Is there one good person, Lord, if that person turns back to you and is a sheep and not overcome by the wolves of immorality, would you save our country? And Jesus says, the good shepherd says no. If one sheep comes back to the good shepherd, our Lord tells us he will not destroy this country. He will not let this country be destroyed. God doesn't destroy, sin destroys. Yes, what is that person? That one person who is not just a person who prays, not just a person who meditates, but a church person who is a contemplative. One who lives in the present moments of Christ. That every single moment of their life is an awareness of God's presence in their life 24 hours a day. That their life becomes Christ's life. And I live not I, but Christ lives in me. Where is that person? Where is that one person that can save our country? That one person is you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.